Introduction. The Battle of Gaugamela, also known as the Battle of Arbela, occurred in 331 BC between Alexander the Great's Macedonian army and King Darius III's Persian army. Taking place in Gaugamela, a village near the river Bumodus, modern-day Erbil, Iraq, the battle marked the final confrontation between the two rulers and resulted in the complete conquest of the Achaemenid Empire by Alexander. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander's forces triumphed by employing superior tactics and effectively utilizing light infantry units. The victory was a significant milestone for the League of Corinth, leading to the downfall of the Achaemenid Empire and Darius III. The Battle of Gaugamela is considered a decisive event, ultimately sealing the fate of the empire and solidifying Alexander the Great's influence in the region. Background. After losing the Battle of Issus to Alexander the Great in 333 BC, King Darius III suffered further setbacks as Alexander gained control of southern Asia Minor and the Levant. Darius retreated to Babylon to regroup with his remaining forces. In attempts to dissuade Alexander from further attacks, Darius engaged in negotiations. According to different ancient historians, 3 negotiation attempts were made. In the first, Darius sent a letter demanding Alexander's withdrawal from Asia and the release of prisoners, offering a ransom. Alexander rejected these demands. The second attempt occurred after the capture of Tyre, with Darius offering Alexander marriage to his daughter and territories west of the Halys River. Alexander refused these offers as well. Preparing for another battle, Darius made a third and final negotiation attempt after Alexander left Egypt. This offer was more generous, including praise for Alexander's treatment of his mother, territories west of the Euphrates, co-rulership of the Achaemenid Empire, a daughter's hand in marriage, and 30,000 talents of silver. Parmenion suggested accepting the offer, but Alexander insisted on being the sole king of Asia. He called on Darius to surrender or face him in battle. Different historians provide varying details, such as the use of an embassy instead of a letter, the amount of ransom offered, and the timing of negotiation attempts. Regardless, Darius's negotiations failed, leading him to prepare for another battle against Alexander. Battle. The Battle of Gaugamela took place with the Persians already positioned on the battlefield. King Darius III had gathered a formidable cavalry force, including Scythian allies and scythed chariots. However, the Persian elephants, initially present, were withdrawn due to possible fatigue. Darius positioned himself in the center with his best infantry, surrounded by various cavalry units on his right and left flanks. On the Macedonian side, Alexander divided his forces, leading the right side while Parmenion commanded the left. The Macedonian army consisted of phalanxes, cavalry, light infantry, and mercenaries. Alexander devised a strategy to draw the Persian cavalry away from the center, creating an opportunity to strike at Darius. The battle began with the Scythian cavalry attempting to flank Alexander's extreme right. A fierce cavalry battle ensued between the Persian and Macedonian forces, with the outnumbered Greeks managing to contain their opponents. Meanwhile, Darius sent a large part of his cavalry to attack Parmenion's forces on the left. As the battle unfolded, Alexander rode to the edge of the right flank, accompanied by his companion cavalry. His aim was to lure as much of the Persian cavalry as possible to the flanks, creating a gap in the enemy line. This required precise timing and maneuvering. Eventually, Darius was forced to attack. The Macedonian cavalry on the right wing engaged the Scythians, while Alexander's decisive attack targeted the weakened Persian center. The Macedonian wedge formation smashed through the Persian lines, eliminating Darius' royal guard and the Greek mercenaries. Darius was in danger of being cut off and fled, with the rest of his army following suit. At this point, Alexander faced a crucial decision. He received distressing messages from Parmenion, whose forces were encircled by the Persian cavalry on the left. Alexander had the option of pursuing Darius and potentially ending the war or returning to aid Parmenion. He chose the latter and went to support his left flank, allowing Darius to escape. During this time, a gap opened between the left and center of the Macedonian phalanx, and the Persian cavalry broke through but continued toward the camp to loot rather than attacking the phalanx or Parmenion's forces. They were subsequently dispersed by the reserve phalanx. The fiercest engagement of the battle occurred when Alexander and his companions encountered the Persian cavalry on the right, consisting of Indians, Parthians, and brave Persian divisions. Despite heavy casualties, Alexander emerged victorious, and the Persians fell into disorder as the Macedonian cavalry charged forward. In the end, the Battle of Gaugamela resulted in a decisive victory for Alexander and his Macedonian army, solidifying his control over the Persian Empire. Aftermath. After Gaugamela, Parmenion collected Persian loot while Alexander pursued Darius. The victory yielded significant treasure, including 4,000 talents, the king's personal chariot and bow, and war elephants. It was a devastating defeat for the Persians and a remarkable triumph for Alexander. Darius escaped with a small group, but the Bactrian cavalry and Bessus caught up with him. The Persian Empire split into east and west. Darius planned to gather another army in the east, assuming the Greeks would head toward Babylon. He sent letters to eastern satraps, urging loyalty. Bessus betrayed and killed Darius, fleeing further east. Alexander mourned Darius's death, holding a proper burial at Persepolis. Fueled by anger, he pursued and executed Bessus the following year. With Darius's death, the Achaemenid Persian Empire is considered to have ended,